Located in upstate New York, Watkins Glen International is one of the most famous road courses in the world. NASCAR made its first visit in 1957 and came back in 1964 and 1965. From 1961 through 1980, the Glen hosted the United States Grand Prix, but in 1981, the track fell into bankruptcy. International Speedway Corporation wound up buying and restoring the track, and NASCAR made its long-awaited return in 1986. Since then, the Glen has been one of just 2 road races on the NASCAR schedule. When it comes to taming the Glen, your first step should be to get out there and drive until you learn its basic layout. Now, I wish I could tell you there's some magical shortcut here, but there just isn't. So, watch this lesson a few times. Load up on some of the stock car setups that come with the game, and just get out there and drive until you learn it. In particular, get comfortable going through the section known as the inner loop, where you'll need to brake heavily and take the car through a quick right and left-right series of turns. Like at Sears Point, the majority of the turns at the Glen are right-handers, so you'll want to set up the car with some right-side weight bias. Like at Sears Point, a lot of cars finish on the lead lap here, so take every chance you can to gain track position in the pits, especially if you're not up to speed. When you're exiting the pits, remember that the last part of pit road actually goes downhill, so make sure you don't pick up enough extra momentum to break the 35-mile-per-hour pit lane speed limit. Okay, let's get in the car and take a closer look at the Glen. We cross the line at full throttle in 3rd gear on the left side of the track. We're doing about 125 miles an hour. Grab 4th gear as you crest the hill. Look for the caution light on the left side where the guardrail moves away from the track. This is your braking point for turn 1. You'll be doing about 155 when you reach it. Quickly roll out of the throttle and put on as much brake as you can without locking up those rear tires. As you brake, downshift to 2nd. You should be doing about 80 as you turn in. Let the car coast as you bring it right to the curbing on the inside of the turn. At the apex, you'll be going 60 to 65, and that's when you want to get back on the throttle. Keep adding throttle as you exit and let the car drift to the left. You're doing about 80 now. Shift up to 3rd, stay in 3rd, and roll out of the throttle just a little bit as you work the car to the right and through turn 2. You should be going around 110 or so through here, so apply just enough throttle to maintain that speed. Go to full throttle briefly as you exit turn 2 and approach the S's. Work it to the left side and feather the throttle to maintain about 120 through here. Keep a good, low line along the curb, and at the apex, roll up to full throttle. You'll drift to the right, and you'll be set up nicely for the right-hander at the top of the hill. Maintain full throttle, stay to the right, and go up to 4th as you drift the car left through the exit of the S's. Keep to the left and stay on full throttle. You should top 170 before you hit the inner loop braking point, which is halfway between the 600 and 500 signs on the left. Just like turn 1, quickly roll all the way out of the throttle, downshift to 2nd gear, and apply as much brake as you can without locking up the rear tires. When you've got it slowed down to just under 100 or so, roll out of the brake and bring the car to the right against the curbing. Coast through the quick right to left section. You want to try to straight line this as much as you can, but you can't go too far over the curb or you'll spin out. Feather the throttle to maintain about 90 miles an hour as you bring the car to the right. Roll on the throttle and bring the car back to the left and try to straight line the 2 turns at the exit. If you do it right, you'll just clip the final curb on the right side and your exit speed will be about 105 or so. The car will drift left as you exit the area, but don't let it go too far or you'll ruin the approach to turn 9. This is a long downhill right, so feather the throttle and work the car from left to right. You should be in 2nd gear and using enough throttle to maintain about 95 through the turn. As you get to the apex, you'll see a red sign near the exit. That's when you should start rolling back up to full throttle. Shift to 3rd and try to hit at least 110 as you exit the corner. Stay on full throttle as the car drifts to the left and grab 4th gear when you can. Turn 10 is a left-hander, so work the car back to the right side of the track. You'll hit about 160 before you get to your braking point, which is the caution light just after the groove starts into turn 10. Just like turn 1, quickly roll out of the throttle, and as you downshift to 2nd, apply as much brake as you can. Get down to about 95 or so and let the car coast as you work it to the left. You'll dip down to about 85. As you hit the apex, quickly get back on the throttle and let the car drift to the right as you exit the turn. The curb here is extended a little bit, so you'll have a bit more room than usual. Immediately start working the car toward the left for turn 11. You'll be going about 115 as you reach the groove, and that's when you'll quickly roll out of the throttle and apply about half brake to set the car before the turn. Let it coast for a moment as you turn in and work it from left to right. Try not to dip below 75 through here. As you hit the apex, get back up to full throttle and let the car drift to the left as you exit. Watch out for the raised curbing over there, because if you hit it, it may upset the car. From here, it's a full throttle blast down the left side, back to the start-finish line and the end of the lap. Let's go around one more time. A good lap here at the Glen will be in the minute 15 to minute 16 range. There's Watkins Glen International, one of 2 road courses. This one is faster, easier to learn, and has more passing opportunities. But that doesn't mean that it's easy. No, not by a long shot. In fact, you'll probably get frustrated the first few times you try to get around this place. But keep at it. Unlike Sears Point, the Glen is pretty straightforward. So there aren't a lot of nasty surprises waiting for you out there. You want to get to the point where you're so familiar with the track that you can concentrate on racing instead of just surviving. Once that happens, you can have a lot of fun here.